First met Roy when I was 16 years of age. I always found Roy two different personalities. On the field, I don't know whether he'd get away with it nowadays because he was something else right on the field. But off the field, a gentleman, a pure gentleman.
Well, I went to Bolton just as Roy was finishing. I spent the last 12 months of Roy's career at Bolton with him. And the things you hear about Roy are true. He was a really hard chap. He also looked after the young lads when you arrived there, which you don't expect.
Came to Bolton, my first day here, I was put into digs on Chadwick Street, which is just off Bromwich Street, and stayed the night there, and the following morning went down for breakfast, and Roy Hartle was sat at the breakfast table with another ex-player, Bob Donoghue, who I didn't know either of them. I'd heard of Roy, but was made so welcome, went down to the ground with them and everything. Played with him many times in the reserves and first team. Great fella, good fella, really. You couldn't speak highly enough of him.
I played maybe just over 200 games with Roy in the same team, which I was privileged to do. Hard man on the pitch, but off the pitch, such a mild-mannered man, good friend to have. And if you were a friend of his, you were a friend for life.
He was what they class as them days as one of the hard men, and you can tell funny stories about Roy and Tommy Banks. He was the other fullback, and one story that comes to mind is they were playing Preston, and Tommy Finney was playing on the right wing, and Tommy Banks was giving him a few problems, and he starts wandering over to the left, and Tommy Banks shouts to Tommy Finney, "Nay lad, that going out at frying pan into fire there," and there's Roy Hartle waiting for Tommy Finney going out left wing.
Well, I've known him since I started at Bolton. Me and Francis Lee joined at the same time, and I've been in touch with him ever since. And I've been seeing him all the time in these last 2 years. You know what I mean? And a lovely man.
Well, it's what I remember mostly of him. I mean, obviously, I've seen him regularly over the years. But it's the help he gave younger players like myself, who has played just in front of him. I got more coaching off him than anybody else, so he really helped you settle down.
I mean, Bolton Wanderers at that time were a successful club, and defensively the Higgins-Hartle and Banks combination obviously kept the opposition at bay. So you listen to things like that in folklore, and you try and emulate that yourself.
Fortunately, he was on my side, yeah. Well, the world famous, aren't they, Banks and Hartle, I think, and they couldn't get any tougher, stronger, and good footballers as well.
All I can say is we had the two best fullbacks in the country with Tommy Banks and Roy Hartle. They were the hardest players in the league, but they were great.
Well, he was a hard player, as everybody knows, you know. But when I first came to Bolton, my English wasn't very good. But I must admit, you know, if it was somebody that would help me out with anything, it would experience of Roy Hartle. But Roy and the lads, you know, they made me at home, you know, in Bolton. And that's why I'm still in Bolton.
He's such a top player as well, which obviously got respect from everybody, really. Both his own players and, of course, opposition. He got respect from opposition.
Some great tussles saw Roy have. One in particular stings out very much with playing against Sunderland. He was playing against a footballer called Billy Elliott, and they battled for 90 minutes. They fell into the track off the old Burnham Park, into the cinder track, finished up walking off the pitch with their arms around each other. What more can you say about players like that?